Sal Salvador was born in Monson, Mass on November 21, 1926. His household moved to Stafford Springs, Connecticut in 1927. Salvador's first guitar was given to him by his father. His main musical interest in the beginning, which he had in common with numerous of his pals, was playing hillbilly music. During the early 1940s, Sal began to become excited about jazz music, primarily through the recordings of trumpeter Harry James. Sal Salvador first began playing jazz on an acoustic guitar in the style of Dick McDonough, Carl Kress, and George Van Etz. After hearing some recordings of Charlie Christian playing with Benny Goodman, he decided to make a move over to the electrical guitar. From 1945 to 1946 he took correspondence courses with Oscar Moore, who was the guitarist with Nat King Cole, as well as Hawaii. Sal was also studying jazz guitar with Eddie Smith at that point in his career. In 1949, Mundolo, with whom Salvador was friends, recommended him for the position of staff guitar player at New York's Radio City Music Hall. Sal also studied and developed a close friendship with jazz guitar giant Johnny Smith, who was on the NBC musicians staff in New York City at that time. After leaving his Radio City Music Hall gig, Sal Salvador went on the road, initially with vibraphonist Terry Gibbs Band, then with trombonist Eddie Burt, and finally with a group called the Dardanelles. On his return trip to New York, Salvador formed a jazz quartet with Mundolo. Over the next couple of years, he worked primarily as a studio musician for Columbia Records, playing backup guitar for vocalists like Marlene Dietrich, Frankie Lane, Tony Bennett, and Rosemary Clooney. In 1952, Salvador gained international fame after he joined the Stan Kenton Big Band. For the next 2 years, he was a prominent member of this well-known band. In 1954, he formed his own quartet with pianist Eddie Costa. They tape-recorded and played at top jazz clubs throughout the USA in 1958. Sal was a featured soloist at the Newport Jazz Festival. Sal Salvador then toured and recorded for a while with his own big band Colors in Sound. This last venture accompanied the decline of the stage band scene and as a result ultimately disbanded. Sal also had a long association with the Gretsch Guitar Company. He helped design and eventually played the Gretsch Sal Salvador model jazz guitar for several years. Salvador eventually settled in the New York area, where he ended up being involved in teaching, writing jazz guitar instruction books, and for numerous years, played in a successful jazz guitar duo with the late Alan Handlin. In later years, Sal stayed in Connecticut, where he divided his time between heading the guitar departments at the University of Bridgeport and Wisconsin State University, private teaching, and playing with various jazz groups. In 1978, Sal Salvador emerged by launching some new recordings and had a higher profile as a performing jazz guitar player during his last 20 years, leading an adventurous quintet called Crystal Image, while keeping his roots in creative, straight-ahead mainstream jazz. It was likewise around 1978 that a new Sal Salvador model jazz guitar was developed and constructed by Connecticut-based luthier Carl Barney, according to Sal's specific requirements. This particular guitar design featured a suspended pickup and is still readily available today as a custom order. Sal died on September 22, 1999 at the age of 73.